Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving! Yay! If you are with us internationally, I don't know, I hope you're having a great day too and eating a lot of food, because that's what we're certainly doing on Thanksgiving today. This is a pre-tape. It's not Thanksgiving Day. Currently, Dan Murrell is...
Right now, cooking.
Yeah?
Getting ready.
Getting ready to feast up the
Making
day.
some sweet potatoes and yeah.
What's Spencer doing?
Yeah, with family, probably. The cooking has probably begun, certainly at this point, or we're getting a raw turkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Joe Starr.
I'm watching my wife cover a piece of a turkey in pieces of bacon.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I am at Whole Foods picking up the pre-ordered meal that I
Nice.
bought with you know what I did? I didn't make it, but I made the money that bought it. The provider, ladies and gentlemen, and a very lazy woman. We hope that you are enjoying your day, and we are going to talk about today. It's a day of families. It's families getting together, fighting, killing each other. There's a movie out called Knives Out that encapsulates family life on Thanksgiving quite beautifully. But we're going to talk about the best and the worst families in the cinemas.
Yeah.
And we are I will be handling the familiar unit as a whole. I'm looking at how things work together, you know? It's not that I misunderstood the directions of this particular show.
No.
It's that I like to look at things holistically. Yeah. That's the issue here. So we're going to start with the best and the worst movie dad, Mr. Joe Starr.
So for best movie dad, I went Eugene Levy from the American Pie franchise. I feel like this guy, he's got sort of an odd son. Who keeps putting himself in some very weird situations, and he's doing his best. He's doing his best to just embrace it and accept it and be very helpful, no matter what pastry-based situation comes up or whatever weirdness happens through various stages of his weird, strange son's life.
He does take it in stride.
Yeah, he really does take it in stride, to the point where I think there is a spin-off about taking long marathon strides, like In the Nude, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he really does all take it in stride.
Wow.
It's called The Naked Mile, I think. That one.
They did make like 17 direct-to-DVD sequels.
Yeah, he is in all of them,
Yeah.
I think. We've seen this dad operate on not just as a direct connection to his son, but also as his own man, and that's important too. Be a well-balanced dad.
Who's the dad that you learned what not to do from?
I don't know if this is the what not to do dad, but my worst dad is... Because, this one's obviously, but Jack Torrance from The Shining is a bad movie dad.
Yeah.
Because he's a bad movie dad before they get to that hotel, man. He's just very clearly not into this.
Yeah.
He's... I feel like there's a lot of bad movie dads who are just like, I just want to finish my book, and then I had this kid, or, and he's definitely the worst of one of those.
Yeah.
And then... a hotel sort of nudges him over.
Yeah. I think definitely trying to axe murder your child.
That puts you there.
That puts you squarely in not world's best dad.
Definitely.
Spencer Gilbert, you're one of the world's best dads.
Thank you.
He is.
Off to a good start.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know who wasn't?
You're my favorite.
And yet is still my pick for one of the best movie dads is Harry Dean Stanton's character in Paris, Texas.
Yeah. Okay.
Did he burn down his wife's house? Yes, but when he realized that he had anger issues, that he had that he could be harmful to those around him, you know what he did?
What did he do?
He walked into the desert.
He walked off.
He walked off into the desert, and he stayed there for a long time. I think 4 years he spends out there in the desert till he comes back, and they're like, "You've been gone for 4 years," till he loses that kind of rage, and then he is able to, as a new man reborn out there, repatch up the family in the best way he knows how, and for the best future of his child. To reunite, before he walked off, he left his kid with some family friends who are responsible and mature and stuff like that. So he knew he had problems, but he set up his kid for success, walked off into that desert, and came back when he was ready.
What I like about that, Spencer, is that it indicates a proclivity for forgiveness.
Yes.
For redemption. For understanding. All of these, I think, are
It's
important
a strong
qualities.
narrative choice for a good, complicated dad.
It is. Those are important qualities to instill in your child, highlighting again that you're a great
Take
dad.
a breather. If you're angry, take a walk. Maybe not 4 years, but...
Who's bad dad?
Well, I couldn't decide between Colin Farrell's character in Killing of a Sacred Deer, Dr. Stephen Murphy.
That's a bad dad.
It's a very
Pretty bad dad. I don't know how many spoilers for both of these we should do where their badness is truly revealed. Or Odaisu from Old Boy.
Oh,
very bad dad.
That is
Yeah.
a
He was a bad dad, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Did not-
That is
So I can go down
that
either
is
of these
a-
lanes.
But he was duped, so I think I might go with Colin
He's a
Farrell.
duped dad.
He was a duped dad. You're right.
He
Colin
is-
Farrell was fully aware, although he was in denial of what he had to do and what needed to be done.
Yeah.
The killing of either the sacrifice of a child, or they would all slowly be paralyzed and blood would issue forth from their eyes and they would all die.
Right.
It's a good movie. You should catch it.
Good movie.
Catch
Good
it.
movie.
Great spaghetti eating scene.
Good movie.
Yeah. Ooh, good spaghetti.
Yeah, bad dad, good movie. I just thought of some good dad and some bad dads. I have more bad dads than a good dad. There's one good dad in 8th grade. Yeah, he's a really good dad because he's dealing with a young woman who is dealing with the transitions of becoming a young woman, and she is crazy in certain moments, and I know how that feels. We've all been there, and he's so patient with her, and he's so loving with her, and he's able to instill good values with her, and there's a moment, and we know what it is in this film, that we are all terrified for her, and he's just there for her like a rock the whole time, and I think he's a great dad.
He doesn't like pretend to be.
He doesn't.
Like he doesn't pretend to be her friend or like one of like the
Yeah.
kids. He's like he's a dad.
Yeah.
But he gives her space when she
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, all true. And I think that is the delicate balance where it's like, I think parents probably make a mistake a lot of time trying to be a friend. Like, she doesn't need a friend. She needs a dad. She needs a stabilizing force in her life because everything around her is very unstable.
Yeah. He's great. He's very realistic. He's
he kind of doesn't get it, and he knows
he's a few
that
steps behind sometimes. The banana
He's
scene in the
trying so
kitchen is. I thought you hated bananas. Like,
Yeah, he's trying so hard, though.
He
I
is.
love him. He's so sweet, and he loves his daughter, man. And she doesn't make it easy all the time, but he still loves her. That's a really good dad.
Yep.
her new mom in Castle Rock. Not a
Yeah.
good mom.
Bad dads include, I don't know if anybody's ever seen The Mosquito Coast, but
No.
probably not, so I won't go too far into it because I think it's probably too old of a film. But Harrison Ford plays a truly bad dad in that movie who makes really bad choices for his family. But another bad dad in my mind is Clark Griswold is not a good dad. Okay, shoot me. Controversial.
He's trying his best, Roth.
I know. Controversial. Shoot me if you want to, but he is not a good dad. First of all, have y'all seen Vacation? He's flirting with Christy Brinkley the whole time, right in front of his sleeping wife. Not good. If the kids see that, what does that say to them about how to respect your partner? Not good. He tries to meet up with her in the pool. Not good. Second of all, he puts his needs inevitably every single time above that of his family. They don't want to go to the damn Wally World. They don't care. It's not a fun vacation when it's do or die. Like, they're just trying to chill, and he's got no chill at all. Entertaining to watch, not a good dad.
He also has not noticed that his kids keep changing.
Yeah,
Like, that's-
he inevitably does not notice that they have been
grows so
kidnapped and
fast.
killed
I
and
go with-
replaced with aliens.
I go with the evolution of the dad, and I go with Christmas Vacation. Clark Griswold with him. He's a very devoted
interesting.
Okay,
father.
I'm sticking with Vacation with Griswold.
Right, yeah, I'm confusing it with Christmas Vacation, where he is really
Yeah.
just trying to provide
Yeah.
Christmas for his family.
Yeah.
That's
There's a
just-
Europe trip's worth of character arc in between
Yes,
these
you're right,
dads.
you're
Yeah.
All right, I will say that he starts off as not a good. Maybe it's a character arc.
Then he goes into the
lands
desert.
He goes into the desert of Europe, and he becomes a good dad.
Yeah.
Dan, tell us other things.
Good dad, best dad. Brian Mills, Taken.
Yeah.
The guy will literally
yeah.
do anything for
Yeah.
his child or
Yeah.
children or other people's children. By the way, he's like a block dad. He's
Some
like
of them.
Yeah.
he's a community dad.
Yeah.
He lets his kids follow their dreams of touring with U2 or following U2
Yeah.
around Europe
Yeah.
on tour.
That is a
It was never a
that is
good
a
idea.
older screenwriter's dream. For
Yes,
a
it
young woman.
is. But I think it also makes sense because like that would be the band that a parent would probably say okay to. That is the most suburban band to follow around in that when that movie was written.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. He did not anticipate Albanian terrorists
No.
doing what they did. But this idea of caring for your children so deeply that you will do whatever it takes to protect them and your family, I think that's a great
The thing
trait.
is, I feel like that's kind of like all dads would do that, but only he can do that. Like every dad would save their child's life.
Eighth grade dad does not have a particular set
He
of
doesn't
skills.
have.
But
Yeah,
also,
most dad skills are like
he was
putting
buying
together
her
the crib.
He was buying her that karaoke machine that she really wanted. Like,
Yeah,
that's true.
He's not just
He's a thoughtful dad.
he's not just a father in a time of crisis.
Yeah.
I think he's also the dad's dad because he's pure dad airport book fantasy.
Yeah,
like
every dad imagines that if that
Yeah.
happened, they would become Brian
Yeah.
Reynolds.
I would add to that Man on Fire, who he's not literally her dad, but he is acting as a similar kind of dad, where this is the dad that will do anything if you mess
father
with the
figure.
kid. He's a father figure, and he is a very, very, very effective one.
Worst dad, we were talking about character arcs. I think this is an accelerated one, and people romanticize him a little bit. Anakin Skywalker.
not a good
Bad dad.
Not a good dad.
Literally devoted his life to killing the one child that he knew about, and then like 10 minutes before his death was also ready to sell out the other one that he just found out about. I would argue, yes, he threw the Emperor down the reactor shaft. I would remind the court that the tide had turned in that battle previously.
Yeah.
I think he knew what the losing side was, so he's like, oh, Luke.
Yeah, and there are a few shots that sort of you can take the read that he's realizing that the Emperor doesn't care about him.
Yes.
They-
Right.
and that's part of
He's
the
a pawn.
Seems
Yeah.
more personal.
He's never been anything
not
but
for
a
his
pawn.
son's benefit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I get that, literally seconds before he died, he said, I'm sorry, but that's a lifetime's worth of ignorance,
Yeah.
negligence, and then
Genocide.
outright homicidal intentions to just
Yeah.
destroy your own children.
That's a-
Yeah.
not a good father.
That's a big therapy week that
That's a
following
lot,
week too.
yeah.
Like, what has anything new happened? Well, my dad took off his helmet and he
Yeah.
apologized and he had a weird egg face. Like, that's a big
Yeah.
therapy day. Like, that sucks. That's
10
not
minutes
fair.
after saying that he was going to let the Emperor murder me and then try to turn my sister to the dark side.
Yeah, was like my bad.
Family to
Sorry.
go hang out on some cliffs for a while.
5 minutes of redemption do not undo a lifetime of being dark.
Also,
That
his rep ruins Leia's career
Yeah.
in the expanded universe books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to trash your daughter's future
Yeah.
just because of your bad
She's
choices.
doing a great job being a senator.
And inside the movie, look what he's done to Leia's kid and
Yeah.
Luke's nephew. From the grave, he's messing.
Yeah.
these children.
The glove of
This
Darth
next
Vader outstretched.
generation.
Yeah.
I think you're bringing up an important point, Dan, which is that these things are generational. They
Yes.
don't happen in
Trauma
a vacuum.
is passed on.
Trauma is
Yes.
passed on. Sometimes right there in that DNA. And I guess I'm asking us this: is the Force a bad dad? Because Anakin was not born in a
the
void.
Force is Anakin's dad.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So is the Force a bad dad? Because his mom was very
I think
nice.
he definitely
by all
had
accounts.
bad father figures. I
Yeah.
don't think Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan were good father figures.
They
to
could
Anakin.
have. They could have kept him on
But
a
I'm
looser
saying
leash
his
around
original,
Padme.
his birth father was pretty absentee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Or non-existent.
Right.
Yeah. And then his paternal structure was literally an intense priesthood.
Yeah.
I think Qui-Gon messed him up for life. I think Obi-Wan was doing his best, but Qui-Gon had hardwired that kid so poorly that there's very little Obi-Wan could do.
Out the gate,
was doing
Qui-Gon
his
was
best.
like, "You're special, very special. Like,
Yeah.
if you can tell Yoda what a picture of a cup is, to the moon, Annie." And so I think that really messes a
I
kid
think
up.
the worst thing that you can do for a kid is tell them that they're special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
anything that you do as a parent, like make sure that you're just like, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're absolutely in line with where you ought to be, generally speaking.
I tell my baby every day. You're where you want to be, generally speaking.
Generally speaking.
I give you great parenting advice because I think I've already told you with your daughter, it's really important that you communicate to her. It's not about what she looks like. It's about how much money she can make.
Right.
And that's an important message for her to
You've
have.
mothered many successful cats.
Yeah. Mommy Dearest wasn't a good mom. Let's talk about the worst. That's the
Movie
one.
moms.
That is literally the one that I picked, who is a real woman, so I don't know if that counts.
yeah.
Best and worst movie moms. Joe Starr, can you beat Mommy Dearest?
For best, I was gonna go Molly Weasley because she's quite a mom.
Good mom.
But I'm gonna go with my favorite movie mom,
she's great.
and that's Elaine Miller from Almost Famous.
Oh, yeah.
Frances McDormand's Elaine Miller. She desperately wants to protect her kid, she's a little overbearing. There's the whistles and all that, but with all of that, she still puts all of her anxiety about her kid aside and lets him go tour with stand-in Led Zeppelin. You know, it's not a movie where he's locked in a room and has to like secretly escape to go tour with these bands. Like, she still gives him the freedom to go do the stuff and learn from his mistakes, and then she's there when he needs her. And yeah, there's a few secret whistles involved and a few like, don't do drugs, like in parking lots, but she's a really great mom.
Yeah.
And in the deleted scene, she listens to Stairway to Heaven all the way through, and she just doesn't like it.
Doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I don't even.
That's cold.
Yeah.
Well,
The whole thing, nothing, no reaction. In 1970, whatever.
I think you're missing the point. She tried.
I guess she did. You're right.
And then she was honest about it.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried if about halfway through Ramble On, she wasn't at least tapping her foot.
Yeah.
That's the test.
Ramble On is the real stuff.
Worst mom, Spencer Gilbert.
Are we doing best and worst, or did you have a bad one?
Oh, sorry. Let me do my worst.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to end on the good stuff.
No, I get it. Lorraine Warren, man. I mean, technically, both of the Warrens are terrible parents, but I give
They don't bring
Ed
their work home with them.
I give Ed a small
just
pass.
in case people don't know, tell them what that's from.
Lorraine Warren from The Conjuring.
Lorraine.
I give Ed a small pass because at least, like, after his kid is traumatized by a demon, he can sing Elvis songs to her to calm her down.
Sure.
But, like, your business is horrible demonic possession. You bring it home, like
it's a living.
It's down the hall from where your kid sleeps. It's not even in. I think they have a separate shed and barn out back.
Shed,
No, it is not in the shed.
It's a room in their house.
It is just a locked room down the hall.
Right?
Put the demon stuff in the shed.
It's like they have the garage of evil.
Yeah, like
That's pretty bad.
Put it in the shed. Have a house rule. Kids, stay off the shed. Like that's
Get off the shed.
Get off the demon shed.
Brandon.
Terrible. And plus, like, you know, even the room aside, you spend like 50% of your home life suddenly going blank and being like, Ed, I see death, Ed, and like that's gonna screw your kid up. It has screwed the kid up.
Yeah,
not a good mom.
Yeah, you're making a passionate.
That's a good point.
She bothers me.
Bad.
That demon room bugs me.
These are bad parents.
Demon room really bugs me.
Spencer, tell us how to parent.
Well, if I had a mom, I have a mom. She's great. If I had a movie mom, it would be Shelley Long in Troop Beverly Hills.
Oh my God! Yes!
She doesn't know what she's doing, but she tries her darndest anyways, and she does things her way.
Yeah.
They might not be the way society is expecting her to. They might not be the most applicable to the Girl Scouts of America code. I don't think they have merit badges for staying at the Bel Air Hotel or what have you. But she just wants her kids to have a good time. She's going through a divorce, and she wants to keep it together and give those girls the time of their life and have some fun. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Who's the worst?
Who's a bad mom? I'll tell you who's a bad mom. The mother in Psycho, either the corpse or Norman Bates.
That was my pick too.
Yeah.
Norman Bates, I think, beats out Mom Dearest.
Take your pick. Either it is the woman who created Norman Bates, definitely screwed that kid in the head.
Yeah.
Or it is Norman Bates wearing his deceased mother's items.
Also
clothing.
not a good mom.
Bad mom.
Yeah.
Bad mom to have.
Also not a good mom.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Spoiler
alert for Psycho.
Well, also,
59
no, I was gonna say spoiler alert. If you don't want to watch the show Mindhunters, the show where they're learning about why serial killers are serial killers, moms. If you don't want to invest in 2 seasons, it's moms.
Okay.
Moms.
Mother.
So, Mother. I did pick Mommy Dearest, which I think does not need any explanation.
Sure.
This is actual Joan Crawford, who I think is seen as the pinnacle of the bad mom. That said, she was also an actress, so...
She played it up a little.
Oh my God. But not a good mom because she didn't. I think also the other thing about Joan Crawford, particularly like this is written by her kid. Like a lot of people felt like she wasn't given the chance to defend herself. But like the other thing that I find a little bit befuddling is like she at an older age, which is where you think you would have gotten to the point to like master a lot of your tendencies or at least understand your own foibles, chose to adopt 2 children and then like really be abusive with them and mean and neglectful. And like that is a little befuddling to me because I get like, if people have kids really young, they're maybe not ready, and they just have like a lot of bad traits. But by the time you were the age that she was when she adopted her kids, it's like you probably know what those things are, and you know whether you're over them or ready to parent or not. Maybe they just thought differently in the future. I don't know. But Joan Crawford was not a good mom, according to Mommy Dearest. But a good mom, according to me, is Sally Field in Steel Magnolias. And I know that she's a great mom. Like, she... They have an imperfect relationship. Her daughter in the film is played by Julia Roberts. They have an imperfect relationship, but Sally Fields is incredibly loving to her daughter and cares about her and wants nothing but the best for her in her life. And then she is a really, really good grandmother, and she suffers a horrible tragedy. And that movie will make me cry every single time I see it. But also,
it keeps getting sadder.
Every single time. But also Fargo 2, season 2. Molly's mom.
Oh, we can do TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, Molly's
Joe?
mom,
She
she's
makes
got a
the
good
rules.
mom. Yeah.
Roth makes rules.
I do?
Yeah.
Or I break them. Dan Murrell, who's your mom?
Well, the worst one was also Norma Bates. I think if you raise a child who has a psychosexual obsession with every woman he meets and ends up keeping your body in a fruit cellar while he dresses up like you and becomes a mass murderer.
It's always the mother's fault.
Literally his mother's fault. Like, canonically his mother's fault. I don't really know how much worse you can be. Best mother, and I have a bone to pick here because I see this mom on the list of worst moms all the time, and it pisses me off.
Ooh.
Kate McAllister from Home Alone. Catherine O'Hara's character.
Okay,
Every
am
time
Home
someone
Alone.
talks about worst mom, she's on that list. Parents are not perfect. No parent is perfect.
And birth control is 99% effective, 1% of the time,
wasn't-
or in that family's case,
Well,
100%
first of all,
the
those
time.
weren't all her kids. That was her kids and
Oh, it was a Brady.
brothers
It was a
and the-
Brady bunch.
It was nieces, nephews.
No, it was nieces and nephews. It wasn't like she was doing her best to hold that whole ship together. And yes, he was being bullied, but I'm sorry, Kevin was being a little jerk. Uncle Frank was kind of right, except for the fact that he's an a-hole. He's the real a-hole in that family, by the way. Uncle Frank is awful,
Uncle
but Kevin's the
Frank.
one that was pushing people around. She's trying to keep this household together, all these 15 people in this house, and he was the only one that was making trouble. All she was trying to do is instill a little bit of discipline. They're in a tough situation trying to leave. She's not the one that did the head count. Someone else did. They screwed up. She immediately, within a couple hours on the plane, realizes what went wrong, and then spent days trying to get back to her child, giving away her jewelry, she shared a truck with a polka band. You know how much you have to love your kid to do that? To share a truck with a polka band? To get home, and what's the first thing she does when she gets home? Does she yell at Kevin? No, she says, Kevin, I'm sorry. Because she realizes that she made a mistake, and the first thing she just wants to get home to spend Christmas with her son. She gets there 10 minutes before her family. She could have waited it out and waited for that flight. She's like, no, I got to get home right now. I hate when they say that she's a terrible mom because the family made a mistake.
No, she's a terrible mom because she did it again.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say because I do when I maybe thought we were doing family units as a whole. I did have down the McAllisters because it's not that it happens; is that it happens with some regularity, and there seems to be an element of neglect in that, or maybe intentionality. You
But if
did
we're-
mention that Kevin's a pain in the ass.
If we're going vacation rules, I agree. I think in one, great. But then maybe as the event keeps happening in sequels, maybe things get questionable.
But you made a very compelling case. She is a good mom in Home Alone 1, for sure.
Yes.
We all make
It
mistakes.
actually really bugs me going back. She's like frantic in the hotel, and everyone else is just lounging around and not really helping.
Every time Kevin gets lost, she's the only person who's like, I'm actually going to do something about this, while all you a-holes sit around and be like, yeah, it'll be fine. I'll wait for the next flight out. She's like, no, this is a child.
Which is why I would argue that the family unit is just it's
family-
not functioning that way.
Not
the
healthy.
McAllisters themselves, they're just he's completely
He's
out to
apathetic
lunch.
at best. He's checked out.
He's
Uncle
checked
Frank
out.
is a
Everything's on her.
huge
You know what?
a-hole.
You're making her. I agree with you. She's the hero. Everything's on her. She can only handle so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flight, and two, first of all, is the airline's fault. Kevin never should have been allowed to board that plane.
The real villain is the airline.
Yes, and two, the real villain is the airline.
All
Yeah.
right. Or we've nailed it.
Roman's
frankly.
wet in his
She got Kevin to the airport. It's literally the airline's fault to not let random children wander onto planes.
But the family generally does suck. Is what I would say. The
extended
family
family's
is
awful.
like not great.
Buzz
and that
is terrible.
Yeah.
The one that tells him he's a disease, that's mean.
That's not nice. Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, we also have siblings. Some of us have siblings. I have a brother. You have a brother.
Yeah.
You have a brother.
I got a brother.
I'm an only
I
child.
know. Sad. It's
great.
Oh, well,
Man, Christmases were awesome.
Yeah, I'll bet.
siblings are interesting because, in my opinion, and also some data will reflect that these are the people in your life that, like, probably when you were a kid, it was really tumultuous relationship, which is good and bad because it's hard when you're going through it, but it kind of teaches you how to navigate those things because you can't get rid of them as much as you might try. And two is that when you're older, that's the person that's been through everything with you and doesn't need context ever. And like for me now, my brother and I are incredibly close because we're like just like trench survivors together of our Requiem for a Family, but also
in the weird government experiment you grew up in.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But also, like, I just don't have to explain a lot to him. Like, he just kind of gets it.
Sure.
So siblings, I think, are a very special, or you can be a special relationship, but they can also be horrible. So Joe Starr, in the movies, who's the worst sibling?
Worst sibling? I was gonna say Fredo, but then as we've been talking, I've been sort of more and more going.
He couldn't help. He was stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of like his family's not going to respect him, so of course he's going to look somewhere else for validation.
Yeah.
So I'm going Chet from Weird Science.
Yeah.
It's a bad brother. Just a real
Classic
bad brother. Yeah, that guy's got some real issues going on. Yeah, he's violent, he's mean, he's cruel.
He is awful.
That older brother should be someone who protects you from a Chet, not the Chet himself.
Yeah, the Chet is inside the house.
The Chet's calling from inside the house. Yeah, I got to go with Chet. Yeah, the weird ROTC fetish, and yeah, not a good dude.
Not a good
dude.
And with the cigars, what's with the cigars, Chet?
Yeah, cigars are a weird issue. Yeah, I don't know. He just all around bad guy. Opposite end of the coin, best sibling. I gotta go Anna, Frozen.
Shit,
Solid,
I did that.
yeah.
It's a real good sister. No, she's doing her best, and you know, there's similar to Fredo. Even though the family gets into trouble because of a choice she makes, she chooses to fall in love with that guy. Like, she's got a raw deal, man. Her parents bailed. Like, her sister's playing goth. I don't want to leave my room. I'm just gonna stay up here and listen to Stabbing Westward all day. And then she gets ice powers and freaks out and goes and builds a castle to go sit and listen to Stabbing Westward all day.
She needed a minute.
Yes, I think Anna's doing her best. And at the end of the day, her love redeems the kingdom, saves the kingdom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shoot, that was totally my pick for all of those reasons. But I just wrote down something else.
Perfect.
Well, I think that you also had this as one of your units, your familial units,
Yes.
but I would pick Wednesday Addams as a great sibling.
Yeah.
Mostly for that reason is that the whole Addams clan provides a safe space, if you will, to be as freaky and as weird as you want to be. And there's complete acceptance of each other's eccentricities, and how they show love to each other to others can be construed as cruel.
Yeah.
But to them, that's love. You know, executing her dolls and stuff like that. That's how they bond. That's how they play. And it's cool to have a sibling that's just so confident in themselves and in what they like and what they want to do and who they want to be. It's a real role model for a younger sibling like a Pugsley to look
if you will.
for a Pugsley to look up
The
to.
interesting thing about the Addams family is what makes them fun is you're never quite sure what's going on. Like, because one moment she's like that, and her brother's like leading a coup with her at a summer camp.
Yep.
But then equally as many times, like, she's trying to murder him.
Yeah.
But then, like, but I don't understand. Like, can they kill each other? I don't actually know.
Impervious to death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's unclear.
Yeah, it's unclear.
Definitely dabble in the dark arts.
Yes.
For sure.
There's some dabbling.
There certainly is. But here's the thing about the Addams family and why they really are. They're on my top list of absolute best movie families because as a unit, they function really well together. Morticia and Gomez are very much in love. And like, how often do you see that with parents that they're still like incredibly romantically involved, which I actually think is a really good role model for the kids so that they can aspire to that. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is loved. But here's what's more important than that. It's not just like, oh, we're our weird little island and we accept each other because we're our, like, thing is treated really well. They treat the help well. You know what I mean? Like, they're really kind to each other. Everybody's treated as a member of the family, whether they're a thing or not, or the uncle but remember, they also have their weird cousin who doesn't fit in. Do you remember the cousin?
Fester.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
No,
Fester. That's Uncle Fester, right?
the female, the cousin who looks like Marilyn Monroe. I think her name is Marilyn, and it's cousin Marilyn who like looks like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, it's the Munsters.
Is that the Munsters?
That's the Munsters.
Okay.
Is that Munsters?
Yeah.
Shoot.
You're still good though. You're good. You're good.
I want to talk about why the Munsters are the best family unit, you know, because they really,
You got
really.
Munster.
You've got. I think you especially have
I want to
Morticia.
talk about why the Munsters.
Well, I think you have Morticia and Gomez nailed. Someone on Twitter a little while back, I thought this was hilarious, was like, has anyone ever noticed that part of the Addams being a subversion of a standard middle class family includes the fact that the mother and father love each other?
Yeah,
and like,
they do. And I actually think that, okay, I'm going to say that that's true of the Addams family. And I love the Addams family as a total, but I am going to say about the Munsters, what they have going for
know
them.
anything about the Munsters.
The Munsters are actually pretty great too. They're sort of similar to the Addams family in that way, but they also have this cousin Marilyn, who doesn't look like them and doesn't necessarily fit in. They kind of feel bad for Marilyn because they're like, oh my God, poor Marilyn. It's that whole beauty is in the eye of the beholder Twilight thing. Zone. But they're really nice to her still. Like, it's not like they treat her bad. They try and make her feel welcome and comfortable, even though she suffers with her great beauty. Dan Murrell.
Wait, I have a bad sibling.
Oh, you do? Oh, shoot, I keep doing that. I don't
That's
want to
fine.
talk about the bad stuff.
Paul Rudd and Clueless. What the hell, man? That's all I gotta say about that.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's fair. Just gloss over that.
That's really weird.
What is this, Pornhub? Y'all are related. Moving on.
Yeah, I agree. I don't care how many. It's romantic. I hear it's really super weird. They weren't raised as siblings. Doesn't matter.
They're not. They weren't raised together. They're not blood related. He is. In argument, like for the sake of argument, he is Paul Rudd. He's very attractive. Tom Corleone is.
Well, hang on. We got some issues then. The Corleone. What about the Tenenbaums? What about Richie and
No, that's
Margot?
weird.
Also
I do
weird.
not like
Yeah.
it. That is weird.
Yeah.
But they're not related.
But what's the difference between?
Because we
He's just a family friend. Yeah,
he's a
that's
family.
fine.
He's
just their family friend.
because
No,
no,
the
Rick-
Tenenbaums.
they're adopted
Wilson
siblings.
is in love with his
siblings.
sister.
Yeah,
Margot.
it's Margot,
Okay, you're
and it's
right.
very
Yeah,
weird.
that's weird.
Because I would just direct the court to weigh in the fact that this is Paul Rudd, who is very charming.
That's fair.
And arguably the nicest guy on the planet. They weren't raised as siblings together the whole time. You know, Tom Corleone. I would say this: Tom Corleone is not technically related to the rest of the Corleones, but he is ambitious. He's become a lawyer. He is loyal. As far as we know, we didn't kill any of his brothers. He's a pretty good sibling. Dan Murrell.
All right. So for best sibling, it's kind of like as the only child at the table, sort of a dream scenario of like who's the sibling that I grew up thinking would be the best like brother, and Ferris Bueller would be the best big brother.
But he
in the
doesn't have
world.
any siblings.
He does. He has a sister.
She does, yeah.
Oh, they hate each other.
She hates him.
Yeah,
She hates him.
They'll get there. They'll figure it out.
He's totally cool with her. Like, she resents the hell out of him. She tries to sabotage him. He never, ever, ever shows any annoyance or anger with her. Like,
He gets away with everything because he's the golden boy and he can do no wrong.
Well, good.
Yeah,
good for him.
go have fun. Yeah.
That's the whole thing of the movie. It's
No,
just like,
she doesn't get to do any of that. And she doesn't get the
She could.
special treatment.
could.
She's not
wrapped up in
getting
stuff,
any of the
Roth.
special treatment.
It's like,
everything's
listen,
all about Ferris.
drug addict Charlie Sheen, strangely, was one of the only people that was right when he tells her in the police station, is like, maybe you need to worry a little bit less about what your brother does and a little bit more about yourself. Because all she is hung up on him. She can be doing that stuff.
Well,
she
that's
doesn't.
classic sibling rivalry.
Yeah. Okay,
and
but
in
I'm
the
saying-
end, she comes around. She supports Ferris.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm
11th
saying
hour.
is, he seems like he would be the coolest big brother of all time.
But
like,
he's not inviting her on these adventures, so is he really?
Well, yeah, she's like, you're faking sick. Like, maybe they could go out to. My point being, like, it's not just that he was a good brother to Jeannie. It's that I think he would be, again, from my perspective as an only child, an awesome big brother. Like, if I could pick a sibling to be my big brother, it would be Ferris Bueller. Because can you imagine having a big brother like Ferris Bueller, who's like super cool, can figure out all this stuff, still loves his family. Like, he gets away with some stuff, but it doesn't hurt hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Cameron kicks the car out of the garage, not
Cameron.
Ferris.
Yeah.
I think by the end of the movie, they have established the path forward to have a very wonderful sibling
Yeah,
relationship.
sure. So I think Ferris Bueller would actually be a super cool sibling. Worst sibling, I picked a Corleone, but not Fredo. I picked Michael.
No, he's horrible.
Michael Corleone is the
He
worst.
does suck.
Because
I
people
think
talk
he puts
about how,
family first. You know?
No,
No, that's the guise under which he does whatever the hell he wants.
he
to
killed his brother.
Yeah.
Who was about to make trouble for the family?
But
He
why?
sold him out.
But why? Because Fredo points it out. He says, I was the big brother, Mike, and I was passed over. They treat Fredo like garbage.
I mean, he does suck.
They send him, but he sucks
No, you're
because
right.
his family has marginalized him for his entire life.
He can't help that he's stupid.
They punish him for not being as smart and apt as the
Yeah,
rest
because
of the
that would get
family.
everyone killed.
Well, he can't be in charge for sure. That's
You
true.
can give him
Push him
some
to
make
the
work
side.
job. He can, dig dirt from one pile to the next, but it doesn't mean you have to make him the head of the family. Come on,
Well, he
yeah.
clearly can't be the head of the family.
They push him out.
You know what I mean?
Nobody's
Obviously, Michael was the only one that could be. Do you know Tom would have been the best head of the family? And I think we all know that. I think we all know that.
Fredo was pushed out and marginalized by everyone in the family, most of all Michael, for his entire life, and then killed for siding with somebody who, for once in his life, treats him like he's not a complete moron and a complete idiot. Michael says that's the great irony of The Godfather. He says he does everything for family. He's doing it for himself.
His
He's doing it for
family's
his own
trash
ego.
by the end. Think about his
Yeah.
relationship with his wife, with his kids. He doesn't.
We got another weird incest thing in by 3. Aren't they cousins?
They are cousins.
Oh, yeah.
And then, let's talk about Sonny. Obviously Sonny's the one that's put in charge of the family. He's got that temper. He can't handle it. Michael's the one that's rejecting the family the whole time. He's trying to go off and live his own life. And only when he's personally invested, he comes back in and he keeps lying about who he is. Let's face that too. He's saying he's going to get the Corleones out of the life of crime and into legitimacy. He never lives up to that promise. I don't think Michael's as great as you think he
Bad
is.
sibling.
Keeps
He's a
putting
bad
his kids
sibling.
by windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mafia are we talking about a mafia family or the Corleone?
The Corleones.
Well,
themselves.
okay.
Nuclear
Yeah,
family.
the nuclear
He's a
family.
very bad.
He's a bad sibling.
biological
Yeah.
brother.
Good. We have a final category if you're still with us, which is
Miscellaneous.
the best worst miscellaneous family person or family unit in total, which is the Addams family, but also includes cousin Marilyn from the Munster somehow. I think we've established that with
accept
some
it.
degree of clarity.
Yep.
But also, I have 2 best families in total. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hit us.
The McDonoughs of Raising Arizona.
Yep.
Yeah, they're great. Like they really do the right thing in the end. They obviously end up having a big family with lots of grandchildren. We see this in the postscript. But they are loving to one another. They are accepting of one another. They are wacky and kooky. They absolutely love their children, and they even love the kid that they momentarily stole and then gave back. But in total, this is a strong family unit that stays together through the course of time. And I would add to that the Zeisman's bad grandpa. He's a great grandpa.
He is a good
He's
grandpa.
not adventures. He loves the kid. He lets him be himself. He could enter a pageant. He's not trying to stop him from being who he is.
Is this the movie Bad Grandpa you're talking about?
I am talking about that grandpa.
That's the
Jackass
Johnny
one?
Knoxville one, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
Dirty
okay.
Grandpa.
Dirty
Yeah,
Grandpa?
Robert.
No, this
Okay.
is we're talking
Got it.
bad grandpa.
Bad grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah, with Johnny Knoxville. as the
Johnny
grandpa.
Knoxville as the grandpa.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He's a good grandpa.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
grandpa.
that's a
Excellent
good
grandpa.
I would want that grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want the Dirty Grandpa too. They both seem like they're having a good time. I have not seen Dirty Grandpa, but that trailer looked like he knew how to party.
I don't need phoning it in De Niro. I want Irishman De Niro.
Oh, okay.
Dirty Grandpa.
Fair enough.
Who's your most random good?
I went with
member.
another grandfather, actually. Princess Bride. The grandfather, that's the Peter
Nice.
Falk from The Princess Bride. He just seems so warm and loving, kind. He takes his day to go read a story to his grandson and is patient with him and, is very receptive to his questions and just very like a wonderful, wonderful grandfather. It'd be great to have that grandfather. Princess
Okay.
Bride.
Princess Bride. I like
That's a
it.
good pick. I went Dominic Toretto.
Yeah.
The man whose life is entirely defined by the concept of family. He's built like a patchwork one around him. He's dependable. For better or worse, once you're in, you're in. Whether you killed Han
Yeah.
or you didn't kill Han,
We don't
once
know.
you're in the family, you're in the family. it started as sort of like ragtag, and it was a little not legal, the things he was doing to sort of keep his family together, but you do what you got to do, to survive. You got to scrap. It's a cool place to grow up, probably. All those cars and barbecues and crimes are probably a lot of fun to be around. But ultimately,
And somewhere along the line, you become a international police force vigilante group.
heck yeah, what a bonus.
Yeah, he just
What a
learned that
bonus.
along the way.
Yeah. Ultimately, the lesson he teaches to his patchwork family is that you gotta look for redemption in everybody.
Yeah.
Just like when Letty lost her, went amnesiac, and then
We can't give up on Letty.
Can't give up on Letty.
Yeah.
If there's one thing we've learned today, Spencer.
you can't give up on Letty.
Yeah, and who's the random person you selected?
I selected for good. I just want people to watch this movie called Shoplifters.
Oh my God.
Isn't that good?
so
Isn't that
good.
a good family?
It's such a good family.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yeah,
But it's
it's
in the
complicated. It's a
miscellaneous
great
category.
movie. Yeah.
These are people who take in an abandoned, or not even abandoned, a little girl in a bad family situation.
she's neglected.
Neglected,
She's fully
yeah.
neglected. Yeah.
And they show you that it might not. Some of us don't have siblings or mothers or fathers, and it's not about so much the biological roots, but those roles that people play in your life.
It's about sharing a Corona.
Sharing
Yeah.
a Corona.
And living life a quarter mile at a time.
Exactly. And then the worst, I picked Meth Grandma from Requiem for a Dream. just
Ellen Burstyn?
Yeah. Meth Grandma. It should be really annoying. Like, I'm going to be on television. Like, okay, Grandma, of course you will.
She was
You're
taking
on meth. That's what
advantage.
you're on.
Yeah, that
taking
wasn't her
advantage.
fault.
Well, when okay, fine.
that wasn't her
Her
fault.
junkie son would stop stealing her
Thank
television.
you.
I'm just saying.
And if doctors would stop
If she were-
prescribing her stuff that she's going to get massively addicted to.
Yeah, but if she were at Thanksgiving and I had to sit through the meal with Meth Grandma,
You're the worst.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Egg oil sales with Christopher McDonald on the
Yeah,
television.
that was not on her.
Yeah.
That was not on her. You were right on
Crawling on the
Shoplifters
walls.
and
Yeah.
wrong on poor Ellen
My worst
Burstyn.
is less controversial. My worst is Maverick from Top Gun. I think he's a bad influence on. He's the friend uncle in Goose's family.
Yeah.
I think he's a bad influence on Goose. That guy should be home taking care of his kid, not playing volleyball with all these guys on the beach. And then the moment a really super bad thing happens, Maverick just gets real emotional and goes, "It was my fault, Meg Ryan," and then he's just out of their lives.
Yeah, he's a bad friend.
Yeah, not dependable. Yeah.
I picked. We were going back to Vacation because he's funny, but he sucks. Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, he does.
Cousin Eddie sucks.
He
the
does.
worst. No redeeming anything. Nothing redeeming about him. He is just he is chaos. He is destruction. He is a tornado of complete ineptitude and uncaring burdening. He's a burden. He's
Yeah.
a burden on the family. He's that family member that you just pray to God does not show up to your house for the holidays, letting this dog run around your house and just staying for 3 weeks, emptying his chemical toilet, and doesn't take care of his kids.
Yeah,
Awful.
awful.
Sucks.
Agreed.
Hilarious, but sucks.
I think a dad we forgot that is not the world's best dad is the dad in Gremlins. Not a great dad.
No. When they got stuck in the chimney
Oh.
on Christmas.
Oh no, that wasn't his fault.
Okay.
The one that brought home the
gremlin.
gremlin
Mogwai,
and
yeah.
the mogwai, and then didn't take proper care of it when the guy told him don't bring home the mogwai, and he didn't listen to anybody, and then he made the gremlins and they destroyed the town. That guy. That's not a great.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's just a bad neighbor.
Not a great dad.
Not a great dad.
Not a great citizen.
Not a good citizen. Not a great dad.
Not a
Not a
great-
good shopper. He's a bad Christmas gift
Bad
giver.
pet
If we
owner.
really think
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it, he's not a good pet owner. He doesn't even follow the instructions. Never leak on with your pet.
Yeah, every pet comes with a list of instructions. Same with children.
To be fair. Yeah.
I'm fortunately not ever going to be a mom, so I think we all feel a lot better about that today. Thank you so much for being with us. It's a day of thanks, and we thank you really very sincerely. This is Thanksgiving Day. You guys have been amazing to us in the last few years and always, and we really, really appreciate you for sticking with us through this show. And we want to hear who your favorite movie families are in the comments below, but we also want to call out to an organization. There's all kinds of ways, like you said, to be family family or become family. And there's an organization that we've been talking about. Joe Starr, if you want to talk about this a little bit, the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America.
Yeah, we've been calling out Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America all month, and look what you did. Solid family transition. I had no idea where to pull that one out either. No, you get all the credit. You should be getting all the snaps in the world. Also great siblings, the girls from Ginger Snaps. Big brother, big sister. There's a lot of kids that need folks. We've been talking a lot about, sort of the idea of feeling like, oh, well, if I was X, Y, and Z, maybe I could help. Maybe I'd have something to offer. Like, you don't need that X, Y, and Z. You already have it. This is a great organization to realize that you do. Like, you're enough. You have so much to offer these kids that have no one, that don't have these role models, that don't have a Dominic Toretto in their life.
Yeah.
Be a kid's Dominic Toretto.
Be a Dom.
Take them on heists and crimes.
Yeah,
we've got
crime with them.
We've got a link in the description to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Reach out to them, find out how you can be a Dom to a kid that needs one.
Maybe there's somebody else to be, but yeah, generally speaking, I just want to say one final thing to you. You're doing moderately well, generally speaking, for where you are, and that is the highest compliment and the
As
best.
Spencer says to his kid every day.
And that's the best any of us could hope for.
It's true.
Don't aim too high.
Bye-bye.
No, I'm kidding. I love
Aim
you.
low,
Goodbye.
kids.
We love you. We do. We really do.